Welcome back to the Merle Girl Movie Podcast. We're gonna have to get used to saying that.
We are.
Like it's like kind of a tongue twister.
Get a rhythm going here.
You know, in the moon. Come on,
I
get a rhythm.
obviously will go.
It's fine. So this week is my week, and it's the last of July, and we were thinking beforehand that we were gonna do like America themed, but I decided not. But now we're gonna. I don't know.
I mean, National Treasure.
Right. Yeah. Well,
American
she was going to do
Tail.
American in the title, like American Tail.
Yeah,
and
American Tail, American Psycho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to do American Beauty, because that was always one of my favorite movies, even though it's pretentious as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of my favorite movies.
The voiceover narration being like, let me tell you a truth about life.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's, like, it already was weird, but especially now, it's even more uncomfortable to watch.
Oh, yeah.
So I haven't watched it in a very long time because Kevin Spacey.
Well, I mean, you guys remember Alan, right? Like,
Let's sit in theaters.
yeah, we went and saw it when they did the Classics of the Movies thing, and we got to the end, and Alan was like, you guys?
What was that?
So I have problems.
So the whole point of the movie is that Kevin Spacey's kind of having a midlife crisis. He doesn't like his
100%
job.
having a midlife crisis.
He gets fired from his job, and then that just kind of sends him on a spiral.
He doesn't get fired. He's threatened with the potential of being fired.
Yeah,
and
then
he
he's
chooses
just
to blackmail them and keep his money.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he has
He
a
and his wife,
midlife
they're not
crisis.
connecting
His wife
anymore.
is a bad person.
Well,
She's trying.
I sympathize with her, but yeah, she's kind of a bitch. Like,
Yeah.
she's, yeah.
Right.
And
he's got the daughter that doesn't love him. She's going through that phase of "fuck you, Dad," like that kind of thing.
Well, she's picking up on the parents not getting along, because if my parents aren't getting along, fuck both y'all.
Yeah.
Like, it's a bad.
Well, because if I
environment
side with one of you, then you're both gonna try to
exactly
use me.
Like, I don't want to be manipulated. I don't want to be between this fight that you're having. I don't like the environment that you're trying to.
And the mom tries to do that to her too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She brings in all the issues that they're having and starts talking to her, and then she ends up slapping her. And it's like, okay. Yeah. But anyway,
it's a family drama.
Always
There's a
liked
lot
this
of
movie.
legit stuff.
It's got a lot of like actual problems that people have, even though it is kind of a weird universe. Like, the universe is just kind of off a little bit like you know how like a Tim Burton universe is a little bit off. I'm just saying, like,
in this peaceful town in the suburbs.
I'm like they
One
have.
man.
It doesn't feel 100% real. It
Right.
has
Well,
kind
they
of
have
a
the
layer
house that
of-
has just this red door, and the camera like zooms in on the door, and it's very like Tim Burton kind of feel for me. I don't know. It's not like creepy, but it's like that fake suburban crap that he likes to do sometimes. You know what I mean?
Like Edward Scissorhands. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Remember when his neighbor was Scott Bakula?
Yeah, Scott
I love
Bakula.
Oh, I was like the old grouchy Muppet guy.
The
is
other
not.
guy on the other side of the house.
Are you talking?
He looks like that
About-
blue Muppet.
Oh, you're talking Chris Cooper.
You think Sam the Eagle?
Sam the Eagle.
Yeah.
He looks like Sam the Eagle.
Yeah.
But Scott Bakula, though. From
I like
Quantum
Scott
Leap,
Bakula.
From Cats Don't Dance.
I mean,
from so many things.
Sam Beckett, huge crush. Like,
So-
loved Sam Beckett.
Okay, so the whole like point is like, yeah, he has a midlife crisis, but there's also other characters that are going through things as well.
Everyone's going through something.
And
You know,
well,
I guess
yeah.
the only character that's not 100% going through something is probably Peter Gallagher. Like, he's...
No, he's going through
No,
something.
he's going. No, he had that divorce.
His girlfriend left.
And his he had the
he
girlfriend
says he's going
issues.
through it, and maybe that's why he's...
But his problem is also egotisticalness, that he's
He's
not.
kind of gross. He's not a good character.
Yeah,
He's not a good person.
Kevin Spacey's wife. What's his name in the movie? Actually, I don't remember his actual like. I can't think of it.
The
right
character name?
now. Yeah, I can't think of it right now. But anyway, is it Nick?
Maybe.
That's the name that came to my mind. And I was like, so Kevin Spacey's wife ends up cheating because she's a realtor, and she ends up cheating on Kevin Spacey with
Buddy.
eyebrows. I mean,
Buddy. His name is Buddy.
his name is Buddy.
Because remember she sits down, she's like, Buddy. Because at the table.
Is it Buddy King? Isn't that his last name?
King
Because it's
of-
King's
Oh,
Realty
yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
His name's Buddy.
Okay.
He's
anyway,
not your buddy, guy.
so she cheats on him with Peter Gallagher,
Which, okay.
and ew, like
Yeah.
no, he's a bad person. But she's into him because he's successful in her field that she wants to be successful
Yeah.
at.
And that is something that they can at least talk about, is the realty thing.
Right, and it seems like she
her
and Kevin Spacey don't really have a whole
they-
lot in common.
Lester.
Is it Lester?
Lester
Holy
Burnham.
shit, it is Lester.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
Lester
my
Burnham.
goodness. Okay.
Lester
Well,
Burnham.
my mind said Nick. Why did we say Nick?
I don't know why we said Nick.
Anyway,
Did he play a Nick in another movie, and that's why we're
I don't know.
I'm thinking of Nick Beam.
Nick Beam?
No.
Tim
Oh my
Robbins be like,
goodness.
Nick, I'm Nick Beam.
I'm Nick Beam.
So, I don't know. And then like the daughter has a relationship with this really weird guy.
Wes Bentley. Let me tell you a thing about Wes Bentley.
He was in Hunger Games.
I have loved him in everything I've seen him in. The man is creepy. He has a face that is not trustworthy. He is beautiful, but I don't trust him as far as I can throw him.
Is it because he played this creeper character?
It could be because this character
He's
is creepy
supposed
as
to be
Well,
shit.
that was the
different.
first time I ever like saw him. Like,
But like,
I'm just
no,
saying.
it's him. There's something about his face that is just a little bit, like even in American Horror Story.
well, it's kind of like
right?
Jared Leto. Like they
well,
both have the kind of eyes.
Jared
where it's
Leto
like,
is beautiful, but also new.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
they're very similar in that regard.
There's something about Wes Bentley that I love watching him. I love him in movies. Everything I've seen him in. Do your thing.
Ghost Rider.
Even Ghost Rider. He is the son of Satan. Do your
But
thing.
most of
He
the
is dark heart.
most of like the pretentiousness in this movie comes from Wes Bentley.
Well, that's because it's
Oh,
his
yeah.
character.
because
He's
that's
supposed
his
to
whole
be-
thing is that he's a free thinker. and
I'm
he's-
different.
Sometimes you see things that are just
Oh
so
my
beautiful
god,
they-
I'm not like
they
other
stop
girls,
you.
but he's a guy.
Oh my god, yes! Like I'm deeper
Oh
than
my
other
God,
people,
I'm
and that's how come
deeper.
Thora Birch falls in love with him because he's real.
God.
Ah,
Well, and they understand each other because they're both going through parent issues, but
Yeah.
she does not even know the extent of the parent
They both
issues.
have
Yeah.
daddy
And he's
issues.
kind of hiding that from her because, like, his mom has some type of mental something. She just kind of checks out. I'm not exactly sure what.
It looks like catatonic schizophrenia.
hmm.
I say that again because it looks like catatonic schizophrenia.
Oh, catatonic. Okay, I heard. Like, I'm sure it does, Doc.
It's a subdural hematoma.
The epidermal.
But
What?
yeah, and I know her from something else.
uh,
I know her from something else. But anyway,
Yeah.
his mom she's got issues, and the dad is
Chris
struggling
Cooper.
to deal with Chris Cooper. Okay.
I really like him.
He's trying to struggle with dealing with that, but then he also has personal issues
Yeah.
because he's a little bit of a Nazi.
A little bit.
He's very.
Maybe the plates.
He has
With
a
a
Nazi
symbol
plate,
on it.
He's
which
got the Nazi
is
collection,
cool
and
to have.
historically,
Historically, it's cool to have, but also in your home, like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's one of those
Plus,
things.
it's just dinnerware. It's a fucking plate with no decoration. It's
Right,
just
it's just a
plate.
white plate. Doesn't it have like a red trim around it or something?
I
Well,
mean,
that
I
was the
remember.
Austrian flag.
It's a really boring plate. Like, there's nothing special.
Right, but
about
then he
this
flips
plate.
it over and there's the fucking little Nazi
Little
sigil.
swastika, yeah.
And he collects like Nazi guns and stuff, like the little
Looters
weird looking
and
ones. You know,
whatnot. Yeah.
I don't know, but he's got issues, and he's also
He's struggling with his own sense of identity. He's got
Well,
what's that called when you're denying yourself, when you're
Repression?
you're willfully ignoring your
it's homophobia, but it's
homophobia for the self, like you're closeting yourself because you
Right.
don't appreciate it, you don't want it.
right. So he
that.
shits on everyone else, and he like
Yeah.
panics that his son might be gay, when in
But it's because
reality
he
it's
himself
because
has feelings that he
himself-
doesn't want to acknowledge, doesn't want to feel.
Right, and it's better just
Yeah.
to be angry than to actually, I don't know, fix it or work
But,
on it. Or
but that
anything.
is
Deal
a
with
really
it.
good
Acknowledge it.
scene, though. Since remember Scott Bakula, who is a delight, shows up at their doorstep when they move in, and he's like, "Hey, I'm Scott Bakula," so he doesn't say it like that. But he's like, "Hey, I'm the new neighbor. We brought you some stuff from our garden."
That scene's awful.
And
he said, "Oh, you said your partners. What's your business?"
And that's the
like-
joke. He's like, "Well, he's the tax attorney, and he's an anesthesiologist," and the dad's just like,
He's wacky duo.
Oh, right.
You're just like, what?
Yeah.
They're just guys being pals. You
He's
know?
like, "What's
they're
happening?"
Just,
And
they're
then-
just roommates.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. But yeah, I don't know. The movie, it deals with a lot of serious
It deals
shit.
with a lot of
But the whole problem, the biggest issue with this movie is that Kevin Spacey is kind of in love with like a 16-year-old girl.
He's fixated on this
He's
teenager.
One of
fixated
his
on this tiny blonde
daughter's
girl.
friend.
classmates.
Which,
Yes.
alright,
Same age as your daughter. That means
She's
she's quite
still
a
a
bit
teenager.
younger.
teenagers are goddamn children.
They-
I don't give a fuck if you are 17, you are still a child.
Right.
And
even 18's gross.
Even
I hate
18
the
is
people
gross.
That wait
You, like,
for them
you
to turn
waited for that,
18.
right?
Like, oh, that's gonna magically fix it. Like, stop.
No, she's still 30 years younger than you. Put your dick back in your pants. Like, I'm sorry, that's disgusting.
Ugh.
You know, you're clearly going after a
But
child.
the
It's not
first
okay.
time that I saw that movie,
Yeah.
I was that age. And I was super into Kevin Spacey. I was so into Kevin Spacey that I didn't see anything wrong with it because I was like, that could be me.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
That's the problem.
That's the problem is that Alan didn't like it. And he was like, what 16-year-old girl is going to go for that? And I remember being in the movie theater offended.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you saying?
The thing you guys got to know. This child's first crush, okay?
You don't out someone else. I don't even give a shit what you're going to say.
My first crush was Chris O'Donnell. He's still way too old for me. I'm 11, he's 28, whatever. This child, though.
What?
I will remind you that Aragorn, son of Arathorn...
Aragorn was not my first... I was 7 and I was deeply in love with him. But he was not my first big crush. My first one was Brian Luttrell, and I believe I was 3 years old.
Okay.
So that's
okay.
exciting.
That's okay. I was 3 years old in love with a 20-year-old man. Whatever.
How are you going to tell me that's wrong? He's cute. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean?
You know, that and they can sing. I mean, my God.
Right.
They got nice
like,
voices.
And now that I'm older, I'm like, but
Kevin.
But AJ. You know what I mean?
Honestly, Howie dressed as that vampire in the Backstreet's Back video. How you doing, Howie?
Which is weird because Jeanette was always into Nick. Why are we talking about the Backstreet
I was
Boys?
into Nick because he was the youngest one and the tallest one.
I have never, ever,
And
ever liked Nick. Anyway, we're not talking
He's
about
got a real
Backstreet
nice voice.
Boys.
It's very sexy.
But the Backstreet's
Like, it's
Back,
real-
all right?
I like the Backstreet Boys. I will die on this hill. Like, they are great, and I love them all.
Ugh,
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, it wasn't uncommon for me to have
No,
a lot
unusual
of
to have
crushes.
crushes
I mean,
on it.
I
Yeah.
had a lot of crushes. I feel like every single movie I'd be like, and then you know what I mean?
That's it.
See, she like me. We have similar
Oh
sensibilities.
my goodness.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, the movie is like really weird, and there's a scene where he has her shirt off, and there's boobs,
Yeah.
and it's just not.
Yeah.
It's really creepy.
That's
It's
the third
really
act,
creepy.
though. It's
That's
like
the third
way
act.
into
Yeah.
the movie.
And
he does stop.
He stops
He
himself.
does realize, wait a second, this is not okay.
Right. Yeah, he doesn't. Only because he finds out she's a virgin, which somehow makes it okay for
Right.
him to back up.
Well, because that
Well,
means she
because
actually is a child at that point. He's
it
like, oh shit,
reminded
it
him
clicks.
that-
Teenager. Maybe
Well,
I
that's the
should
thing.
back up.
That's actually an important part, is for him to realize that you shouldn't be sexualizing the 17-year-old.
Mhm.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you should recognize that the teen on the end of the age is a stop. It's a big red stop sign.
Right.
Like,
But I mean, he's going through a midlife
He was
crisis.
going through- and
He's
his wife is
trying
awful.
to
I
be his
understand that
younger
much.
self. That's why he went and got the car. That's why he got the remote control car.
that's why he started working out again,
Yeah, it's smoking pot.
smoking pot.
Like, he's trying to regain
Working
his
at the
youth
fast food
because he
place.
doesn't like that he's lost so many years of his life. Yeah, he's working at
Yeah.
a fast food place.
Yeah, he just
You know.
rewound a whole bunch.
Yeah, and so for him, I don't know, it's not as weird for him to like a younger girl if you think about all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Not like that, but you know
And
what
how
I'm
he
saying.
was going through some shit. It doesn't make it acceptable.
It's
It does
kind of
not
like
make
we
it
were
okay.
talking about earlier with the whole cheating on someone thing. They make his wife a bitch.
Right, to justify
To
the-
make,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
only really the one part where the wife, who's Annette Bening, by the way, there's only one part where she's ever really sympathetic, and that's when she's
That's
I
at the
will sell
very
this
beginning.
house today.
It's the
And she's
it's
trying to do
scene,
the
yeah.
house, and she sets up the whole house, and she's trying to dust everything off, but then the house just isn't that good, and everybody's like, I don't want to buy it, and then everybody just leaves, and so she closes the windows, and she just starts
Right, and
sobbing.
then she just starts crying.
That's-
and slapping
the
herself.
one scene
The one
that you feel
sympathetic
bad for
scene where
her.
it's like, okay,
all
she's
the other
going through
scenes,
some
she's a
stuff.
complete
She's
bitch.
not a good
that's
person.
the point. She's supposed
She-
to be
yeah.
like, my things aren't working out for me. It's not working out for me. And what
Yeah.
what it's secretly supposed to be is that she's going through the same problems, but she's trying to hide it.
Right.
So
Right.
she's taking out her frustrations on her family, which is, by the way, called emotional abuse. Let's not do
Yeah.
that to your son and your daughter and your wife and your all these
Yeah.
you know, the people that
Let's
are in
not
your life.
manipulate.
Don't
and
manipulate your
giant
family like
your
that.
family like
Because
that.
she does. Like, the second that he comes home and says, hey, I lost my job, I blackmailed my boss, and now I have another job, it's fine. The second he does that, she starts yelling at the dinner table. Remember, Thora Birch comes in
Right,
late.
Thora Birch is there.
And then, Thora Birch is in this movie. The daughter comes in late, and she's like, "Oh, don't worry about it, honey. Let's just tell our daughter what happened to you today,
Which is
Lester."
super fucked. Don't do that to your shit.
Passive aggressive, hateful.
What that is called emotional abuse. Don't drag your daughter into your
Yeah.
marriage problems. That's the kind of problem where if you're having a problem with your husband, you talk about it quietly after the kids go to bed.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about it, you work it out. You do not sit there and yell at each other over the dinner table.
Or you have a healthy discussion. The thing is, like, if you're going to argue in front of your child, you need to do it respectfully, professionally, adult. You know,
and not just immediately fly off the handle.
Yeah, because children, I know that you think that they're young, but they can pick up on tone.
Oh yeah,
they can pick up if you're angry with each other. And it's still.
And then she tried to blame him by saying it was his fault for getting fired when he was literally put on the back burner and they were like, we're going to eventually basically let you go because you're expendable.
Yeah.
You know, which is not his fucking fault. Like, he's doing his job, you know.
Yeah.
I've been here for 10 years. You've been here, what, a month?
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. So, I mean, there's deep-rooted issues for everyone in this fucking movie. But it's a good movie. It's just a little bit on the weird side. Like, I don't know. I feel like...
Well, the problem is that some of the issues that they bring up are no longer issues, really. Like the big scare about pot.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, pot is illegal. Pot is legal in so many places now.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of those things, it's like...
It's a little more mainstream.
Yeah.
A little less, gotta go meet my dealer in the back alley.
Well, yeah,
everyone
acts like it's this, like, cool thing. And it's like, nowadays, like, why?
Yeah.
Like, just, I don't care. Go smoke pot. I don't give a shit. You know.
It's because people have marijuana cards now.
Yeah, people have the cards.
Businesses everywhere now. And it's just like, well, okay.
Dispensaries opening like candy shops.
Yeah, the second that people legalize it, it's like, woo, you know? And it's like, that's one of the huge issues in this movie. Oh, no, I can't let my scary Nazi dad find out that I sell pot.
Right,
so beat me for it.
His dad fucking makes him do pee tests.
Yeah.
Which is super
That's
fucked.
incredibly invasive. Like, granted, your child is
that
totally
something that's
doing
supposed to be because of the mental health issues, though? Because he was put into a mental facility, and maybe that's why he's doing the drug testing.
You can't test mental stuff with pee.
No, but I mean, what I mean is, you don't know exactly what happened with him being put in the mental facility. You don't know what drugs he's on or whatever. I'm just saying, maybe I was always questioning that about.
Oh, like maybe he can test if he's actually taking his medicine.
Yeah,
but then he doesn't. He pays someone else to pee in a cup for him. They wouldn't be taking that medicine.
I'm just
so that doesn't. It was only for marijuana.
No, it's for the drug test.
Yeah, 100%. It's only for THC.
And it's definitely him being like, I need to make sure that you're not doing this bad thing. Right, it's definitely 100%. And no, that's a huge invasion of privacy. Like it's invasive.
But again, you really have to suspend your disbelief on that because the dad goes and rummages through his room, and you don't notice that giant thumb-sized hole in the bottom of his sock drawer because it lifts and there's pot underneath. You didn't notice? It's this big. You guys, it's this big.
Oh, yeah.
It's like this big. And he's like, oh, I don't see anything wrong with this sock drawer that's way too hollow. Why is the sock drawer so high up? I don't know what's wrong with the sock drawer, man. It's just, there's problems with this movie. There really are.
Here and there.
Here and there.
And also, why would he hide it in his room? Like, wouldn't you hide it
hide it behind the Nazi plate? We never go in there.
Exactly. Like, hide it in your dad's office or hide it in the kitchen or like under the fridge. You know what I mean?
Hide it in a bag labeled oregano.
I'm just saying, like, why would you hide it in your room when you know that your dad is fucking crazy, actually crazy, like not all right? So, I don't know. But the movie, like, it's a good movie. It's just.
It's well written.
It's uncomfortable.
It's interesting. It's engaging. It does.
Well, because Kevin Spacey, like director-wise, like not director-wise, but like how it was made, like it is interesting how many scenes they do where you can physically watch him fantasize. Yeah. And so like it's really cool, but it's also ew. I don't need to know. I mean, she's dancing for him. Yeah. She's literally being a cheerleader on the court, on the fucking basketball court, and he like it like zooms in and there's like a spotlight to show you that it's just he's forgotten about his surroundings, you know what I mean? And she turns into like a dance for him, and then he snaps out of it, and it's supposed to be like, oh, you know, and then like he does it again where he's sleeping And he's thinking about her in a bath with all. And that's why the whole American Beauty, the whole like outside of the box is all rose petals because he
and a
was
navel, right? Rose petals.
Well, the whole movie is very heavy on the color red. Their front door is red. The wife
roses.
The wife does the roses.
The blood.
Yeah, not to
that one time.
Anyway, but yeah, it's very heavy.
Well, the cinematography
on the
is really well done. Like you can tell they were going for things.
And also, fucking Thomas Newman. Thomas Newman is my favorite.
So good.
Oh my god! And he was nominated for this movie, but he didn't win it because no one will give him an Oscar.
Yeah.
It's fine. Because the whole reason this movie is interesting is because the director basically went to Thomas Newman and because I had to do a report on this in high school, and that's the reason I know. And the director went to him and was like, "Hey, if you're gonna make me a score for this movie, make it percussion heavy." And so Thomas Newman said, "Xylophones, fuck it," and just fucking. And so the whole movie is like, what is? It's not a xylophone. It's like the wooden ones. Is it a log drum? It's not a log drum. It's something like that, but it's like a wooden xylophone, basically. And the whole movie is basically that. And it's really, I don't know. Like the whole, that's the only movie that I know of where the soundtrack was specifically percussion. It's because the director asked for it. And I think that's so cool. Like it's such a unique touch to an already fucking weird, unique movie. Right. Like I really love it. I can fault Thomas Newman. I can't. Literally,
Thomas Newman is
perfect.
Amazing. Every soundtrack he's ever done, it's like, oh my god, that's beautiful.
Oh.
Like, he makes me cry. All I have to hear is, like, the first fucking couple of bars of any of the songs from Finding Nemo.
That song from Lemony Snicket makes me cry.
Lemony Snicket? Oh my god. So, yes.
Eventually, I want to talk about Lemony Snicket because Jim Carrey and Jennifer Coolidge.
It's bizarre how that movie is both perfect and awful.
Jennifer Coolidge?
Like,
true. I just don't like
she does not. I like Jennifer Coolidge. I think she's fine.
Well, she just is Jennifer Coolidge. Like, she doesn't...
Always.
Like...
She was even Jennifer Coolidge on Frasier.
She was on Frasier?
You remember the German physical therapist after Daphne? There was Martin needed to find a new physical therapist because he didn't want to keep employing Daphne because she's family now or whatever. And so he's going through a bunch of different physical therapists, and one of them is Jennifer Coolidge, and she's doing like this really meaty German accent where her whole face is kind of, I'm going to make you Ludwig and stuff, and she's doing like, it's Jennifer Coolidge.
I don't remember that at all. I remember Michael Keaton,
he was
being on
Blaine.
I remember Alan Tudyk.
Was
on Frasier.
A lot of people on Frasier.
A lot of people
here and there.
So, what do you think about this movie? Because I know that you don't really care for it.
I mean...
No, you own it on DVD.
Yeah.
So you do like it to some extent,
You
right?
appreciate the cinematic value.
There's so many problems with it.
Oh, yeah.
But when you look at it from the character perspective and all of them having their own issue, it's interesting to me how all of the characters have one major problem that they're trying to work with and they're trying to hide it from other people, and then, you try to work through your issues. And so that's what I think is interesting about the movie, is that they play off of each other. They all have one reason to be sympathetic, but they also
Well, it's kind of a mini plot, isn't it? Because all the characters...
No, it's a hero's journey.
It's not a mini plot. It's all one
It's a failed hero's journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it bounces from person to person, and they all have their own different issues.
that just means point of view. That doesn't mean mini plot.
Yeah, because a mini plot would have to have a bunch of different
plots, like Love Actually, where these characters they're
tangentially
related.
They're not
really connected at all.
Yeah, this is all the same universe.
This one is all supporting
story.
Lester's story.
Yes,
of how I died.
Yeah,
and
basically. Yeah. So basically, the whole ending, and I mean, spoilers if you want to know.
This movie came out in 1996.
96.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen it by
now.
So
the weird boyfriend guy,
Wes Bentley,
he comes over and starts rolling weed for Kevin Spacey. No, for Kevin Spacey.
Oh yeah, well he's giving her too.
They smoke one time together. She wasn't really into it.
No, she's more into him.
Yeah. But anyway, and then there's a scene with her boobs.
Yeah.
I don't need to say.
Oh, you know what's creepy about that? Her dad was involved.
What, them peeking through the window and
No, I was talking about Thora Birch's actual father.
Thora Birch had some problems with her father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like demanding how it was filmed.
Yeah.
What I was saying was that
Thora Birch does fine.
Wes Bentley comes over and he starts rolling weed for Kevin Spacey, and Wes Bentley's dad, Chris Cooper, has fucking binoculars in his neighbor's home because he's like, he's completely overbearing and, like, what is the word for that?
Not only is he spying on his son, he's also spying on the neighbor who he has the
Kevin
hots
Spacey,
for now.
because we don't find out until later that he actually likes Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Until he finally decides to go for him because he thinks that his son is giving Kevin Spacey a blowjob when he's actually leaning over the table and rolling weed, but from the vantage point of the window, Kevin Spacey is with his hands behind his back, and he thinks that his son is blowing him. So he's like, oh, okay, that means that he's gay. So that means that if I come out to him being gay,
he'll be receptive.
Right. And so he goes out in the fucking rain like a weirdo. And
you don't run up to your neighbor's garage
people.
door and just be like, hey,
right. Well, he doesn't say a single thing.
In the rain.
Does he? Doesn't he have?
No, he's just completely silent for the first 30 seconds of this conversation.
But he basically really comes in there and starts trying to kiss Kevin Spacey, and Kevin Spacey's like, whoa. Like, thanks, but no.
Because Kevin Spacey's like, man, you're shaking. Are you okay? We got to get you out of those wet clothes. He doesn't mean it to be
it's like...
an entendre.
Well, because he thinks... I mean, what
your
would you
neighbor,
think? You literally just
okay?
thought...
Something's going on, and...
Yeah. You know,
your neighbor's crying. Like, I can't tell you what's wrong.
Kevin Spacey tells him no, and I guess that just sends him on a spiral because, I mean, he was just rejected.
Now somebody knows this thing that you've been trying to deny.
Yes.
He doesn't want to have to deal with that. He doesn't want to have to acknowledge that. He's upset about being rejected. It's a whole big jumble of emotions.
Right.
And
so he goes back to his house and grabs one of the Nazi guns and comes back and shoots Kevin Spacey dead. And
spoilers.
That's the whole...
Because that's the traumatic tension of the whole
you
third
know
act.
From like the beginning, don't you?
He tells you, I'm going to tell you like how I died.
This is how I died. This is like this
but
is the story leading up to the day
tension of that whole third act of Daphne is that you're not supposed to know who shot him, Daphne. Because you're supposed to think that it was Wes Bentley.
You're supposed to think that it's the mom.
You're supposed to think it's the mom because she had a gun.
Could have been the mom.
Could have been Wes Bentley.
Could have been Wes Bentley. Could have been Thora Birch. Could have been Chris Cooper. Could have been...
Will you shoot my dad for me?
Yeah, and then he jokes about it, but he's also kind of...
And he looks at her eyes, she looks serious, so he thinks she's serious.
And
so
then
the tension...
the wife also has
Daphne,
a gun, and she's like listening to like self-help books in the
You'll
car.
be bullied unless you stand up for yourself.
And so she's like, oh, so I should shoot my fucking husband, okay. And so...
Yeah.
And so the next thing you see is her in the house running with the gun and throwing it in the laundry basket because the police would never look there. And so I forgot about that. It is supposed to be like, sorry.
Yeah. It is Miss Mousetrap. How did it end? Who was the murderer?
It is supposed
Turns
to be
out
like,
it was the butler the whole time. Who would have guessed?
It is supposed to be kind of a whodunit. It is, and that whole last scene is very dark, and everyone's covered in rain. And, like, it's very spooky. And, like, the lighting and everything.
Like, the police are going to have a hell of a mystery to solve. Like, they're just gonna.
Right.
Not really. This gun is from the 1940s. That's a weird bullet in the back of your head, son.
Yeah.
It's got a Nazi symbol on the bottom of it. I wonder
they literally carved a swastika into the casing of the bullet.
That's weird.
I'm very confused.
I wonder who's after you.
Goodness. He's lucky that gun still works, right? I mean, doesn't stuff stop working after a while?
You don't take care of it, but it rusts and stuff, but he's taking care of it.
But even still, that's
just like his neighbor.
That's basically the whole point of the movie is just Thora Birch was going to go run off with that boy because they're in love and run away from the dad.
Which, yes, absolutely run away from your crazy, overbearing father.
Right.
Like, that's 100% an abusive household. Honestly, Thora Birch is living in an abusive household, too. They both are. Just one is more physical about it.
Yeah, it's abusive in a different way.
Yeah.
One of them is an abusive in a very 1950s, you have to do exactly what I tell you kind of thing.
And then one of them, Wes Bentley, gets punched in the face.
One of them is physically overbearing. One of them is just emotionally, fuck you in your ass, lady. Right. Like,
the mom is pretty terrible.
She's a terrible person. There's only that one scene where you see her going through some shit and you're like, okay, you're human, I understand.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You're supposed to. That's the problem. You're supposed to understand why she's freaking out.
Right.
But the problem is that she shouldn't be doing what she's doing.
No.
So we do see her go up to her daughter's room. The problem is that when she goes up to her daughter's room to try and be sympathetic, is that she comes across emotionally manipulative. Because she says, oh, I wish you hadn't had to see that downstairs, but in a way I'm glad that you know that your father's not perfect. And she's like, well, you're not either,
Which
Mom.
is fucked up. Like,
that's
how
what I'm
manipulative
saying.
is that to come in there
Like,
and be like, I'm glad you can see who
everything
he really
is your father's problem. Like, clearly,
Yeah,
It's
not
not how you
it's
reacted at
not
the
you at
table.
all. No,
It's
no.
not completely.
It's not you being juvenile and evil and coming at my father in a mean way.
So yeah, I think that
Annette Bening's character is just a nightmare.
it's
honestly.
an emotionally manipulative person. But the problem is, you're supposed to understand where she's coming from, but you really shouldn't do that, and that's the problem.
Well, you can sympathize without saying it's okay. You can sympathize without justifying.
The biggest issue
That's
is that
the
there's
thing.
no communication with anybody.
They're terrible at communicating. There's
Like,
no...
That annoys me so much in movies because Nathan and I are like super into communication. Not to be like my boyfriend's better than yours. He's my husband.
Hubby.
I keep
My husband's better than yours.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying, like, our thing is like very into communication, and so I was watching something the other day, and I was getting so annoyed because literally everything it was Stranger Things. I was complaining about Stranger Things because
it would take one goddamn sentence
Will
of
kind of goes,
communication.
I think I feel something, and then just keeps it to himself. No, that does not help anybody. You have to tell someone when something is wrong. You have to talk.
That's the thing. She tried to do it a little bit. They start having that fight in the bedroom.
It's
the
like
problem
War of the
is-
Roses. She was too far gone with animosity towards him
Right.
to even be able to communicate with him
Right.
and fix it.
And that's the thing. And
He
also,
tried with her that one scene where she
Yeah.
comes home from work and then she immediately ruins it by being a stuffy bitch.
Well, see, that's the
Well,
problem.
yeah,
the
but also
problem
he's
is
not
some of
understanding.
the things that they fight about are also really dumb. Like, for example, he should not have been masturbating to the idea of an 18-year-old girl.
Yeah.
She doesn't know
But
who it was for.
that's what I'm saying. He should not have been doing that necessarily. That's kind of weird.
Okay,
But-
no. Why would you get
But
upset and grossed out?
that's
that
what I'm
your
about to say.
husband...
Why would you be
Yeah.
upset and weirded out?
Hadn't
sure.
I been inside with you before?
Yeah,
Like,
Did you have a daughter with him?
right.
So why is sex weird
Like
for
you've
you?
never seen his dick. Like,
Why are you
Right.
yelling at him? I mean, but still, you should have probably checked on him instead of being like, "Oh, that's disgusting what you're doing."
right.
What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Well, don't shame people for basic shit.
I mean, if you're...
Like,
I'm sorry, if you're not giving it to him, what do you want him to do?
yeah, and y'all do share a
And
bed.
it-
Like, this is what happens.
Right.
You should go sleep on the couch if you're gonna do things like that.
Like, that's so
Yeah,
fucked.
no.
Like, why are you gonna treat your
No.
husband like that? Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
and honestly, like, masturbation is not gross unless you are in public, like at a park doing
Right.
it. If you're in your own home, in your own bed, do whatever the fuck you want. That's
it's a
you.
bed you share together that
It's
you have
your
done
bed.
things in before.
Yeah,
Why would you
exactly.
be upset that he's doing
It's
that
not.
there?
It's
It doesn't make any... It's just her
Again,
being more stuffy.
The thing
Yeah.
that makes it weird is the 18-year-old girl, but that's in his head.
That-
yeah,
she doesn't know that.
Like, he's not moaning
it
her
is
name or
gross,
anything. If he
yes.
was, that'd be a problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, get out of my house. Get out
But
of
from
my
her
life.
perspective, he's just fucking jerking off. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be upset because I'd be like, I'm right here. But she obviously
Yeah,
doesn't,
she doesn't
feel
want
that
it.
way.
She
She
doesn't
doesn't want
care.
that. But why would she get angry that he's going that route when she doesn't give him any other choice?
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
Yeah.
Their marriage is a train wreck because they don't talk to each other.
But
They
that's what he
don't.
literally says. Lester, I refuse to live like this. This is not a marriage.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, this hasn't been a marriage for years, but you were fine with it as long as I kept my mouth shut.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I'm not going to anymore because I'm having a midlife crisis.
Well, that's the thing is that
I've
he's
got
going
problems
through
and I
new
don't wanna-
changes
yeah.
and she's wanting to stay the
To
same.
change it.
And that's why that scene where he's trying to come onto her on the couch, like they used to, or whatever, how they used to be, he's trying to think of her in that way of the person I married. And
Yeah,
she's
the person I
kind of
fell
like,
in love with versus
right, and she just kind of doesn't get it because
Yeah.
she's too far gone into herself and her image.
yeah.
And, you know, the whole thing is like he's leaning into her and she's like, you're going to spill beer on the couch. And it ruins the whole mood. And
Like,
Kevin
we can
Spacey's
clean
like,
that,
are
and-
you going to love me or this fucking couch? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a really sad scene because
the movie
she's
is
so far
frustrating
gone
emotionally. It is very watching these people just not know how to talk to each other.
Well,
not know how
I
to
mean,
be with each
didn't
other.
she just come home from stepping to Peter Gallagher, though?
Might have
yeah,
been.
she literally just got
Yeah.
home from...
So maybe that's why she
Well,
wasn't into...
Again, if you're going to fuck around on your significant other, just break it off beforehand.
Right.
If you're going to cheat, just be like, I'm out. Because cheating is not okay. It's just,
Right.
yeah.
Well, like again, it all comes down to communication. If you're telling your partner, hey, I'm not really happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you're hiding it and then you see this other guy and you're like, okay, I think we'll go over here. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, it's not that
You want
hard
to have
to
your
tell
cake
people
and
how
eat
you
it too.
feel.
And it's like, no. You go ahead and get the divorce. Like, I could understand in, like, if it was a 1700s thing, like the Duchess, right? The Duchess, I totally sympathize. You go get yourself,
I still
whatever.
haven't seen that.
It just, Ralph Fiennes is a bad man. He doesn't love her. He doesn't love her. He's very cold and distant, and he does not love Keira Knightley. And Keira Knightley wants to go be with the pretty one from Preacher, the one that was in Mamma Mia. I don't remember his real name.
Okay.
The good-looking one that was in Vampire Hunter, Abraham Lincoln.
Are you talking about Timothy Olyphant?
No. The dark-haired, dark-eyed boy that was the boyfriend in Mamma Mia.
I had never seen Mamma Mia because I like my brain.
Oh.
His name, I want to say Dominic Cooper.
Pierce
I don't think
Brosnan.
that's right. That boy,
other dark-haired boy.
that good-looking, dark-haired, dark-eyed boy
That's rude to Peter Brosnan.
he is a political up-and-comer, and he is in love with Keira Knightley, and Keira Knightley falls in love with him. And so she has an affair with him
Because you can't divorce.
because Ralph Fiennes is a bad
So what?
husband.
It's justifiable then?
It's justifiable because you're in the 1700s.
Right, but
Divorce
Lester
is-
doesn't deserve that.
Well, no, Lester, he's not the greatest person
He's not
ever.
the greatest person, but he's
But, yeah.
trying just as hard as she is.
Yeah. In the modern
They're just
era,
two different of
when
people.
you can get a divorce, it is completely socially available.
The problem
Do the thing.
is
Don't cheat on each other. This
don't,
ain't okay.
They don't like their jobs.
Yeah, but they also have a 15-year-old daughter.
That's the problem.
Well,
They
that's
both
rough.
have two jobs they don't really like, but they kind of fell into them. You can tell they just kind of fell into them from a long time ago. So they've been working jobs they hate for a really long time. So honestly, it's the dystopian American dream falling apart. It's very classic not Gen X. Is it Gen X? No, it's the one before that. It's the 1960s group. What is that called?
Baby boomer?
No. Between the ones that everybody looks over, and I can't think of their name now. Oh no. But that
Gen X
group,
is the 80s babies.
that the group right before it's
80s
between.
kids.
But they're overlooked. I think it is Gen X. They're the overlooked group where it's just like we fell into this pattern. We don't really have anything we're doing. We're just doing a job that we hate. And so that's the whole point of the movie, is that it's supposed to be the decaying American dream. And so that's the
Right.
symbolism of, well, this guy has a wife and a kid and a picket fence, but he hates his life. And so that's the whole point of the movie is, this guy has the wife and he has the son and he has the new house, but they have this deep family secret because they can't get along. So it's the dysfunction in the families that is the story of this movie. That's really what's going on in the story. Which is, yeah.
I mean, it's a really good movie. It's really unique. Like, especially with, like there's that one scene where there's, like, a blue bowl with oranges in it, and that's the only color that's on screen, and it looks wonderful. Like, there's really good color things that go on in this movie.
The
and
sounds,
the music's
the
good.
visuals,
The acting is really fucking good.
It's a solid
Oscar worth-
movie. It is very much a...
Yeah.
It's a
just,
well-crafted movie.
like,
You know?
I wish it would have focused more on, like, the homophobia parts than it did on the pedophilia parts.
Yeah.
Because, like, the homophobia, like, I can understand that.
I can sympathize with
I
that
can
more.
sympathize with that more than
You
trying
having
to
the hots for an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
No.
like
No.
Because it's all about the repression of what you should and shouldn't be doing, and that's, again,
Right.
the message of
right.
the story.
But
It's fine.
I don't know. But yeah, it's a really good movie. You should watch it. And then let
Yeah.
me know what you think. Because it is one of those movies, especially it's weird now because of Kevin Spacey. So now I feel like I can't watch any Kevin Spacey
It's hard to like
movies.
Kevin Spacey,
It
no
makes
one
me
some
sad.
things.
He used to be
Yeah.
like my favorite fucking actor, and now it's like, well, you
Yeah.
know.
Like the hostage negotiator one, like it's really good.
Remember Horrible Bosses?
Oh, I
No.
loved him in Horrible.
There's one, the hostage negotiator one with Denzel Washington.
Oh, I haven't seen that
It's
one.
real good. It's real good.
Anyway,
The Negotiator is what it's called.
I haven't seen that.
It's exciting. It's really exciting.
Anyway,
Samuel
okay.
L. Jackson.
Well,
Yeah.
is there anything else that you want to say?
The music, the movie, the cinematography,
yeah.
the plot, the symbolism.
I mean, the characters are all really good, and they all have issues. So that's
That's what I'm
interesting if
saying,
you're
is
into like working out, like that kind of stuff. Like it's very. I don't know. The movie is kind of negative.
Yeah.
It's a little bit pretentious.
There's a lot of
It's a
problems.
little bit pretentious.
The
And
paper
yes,
bag,
there's-
man.
yeah,
Plastic
the whole
bag
paper
swirling
bag.
in the wind.
Do you ever feel like a paper bag?
Oh my goodness. And
No,
there's the
it's
part
just-
where he dies and he's thinking about, like his grandma's hands and how they're wrinkly and they show the lady with the buttons, and
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it is very nice, and Kevin Spacey's voice at the end is very sad, and it's very, like, I'm being nostalgic about my life. And it's supposed to be like a life flashed before your eyes kind of thing. So, I don't know. It's really good.
Yeah.
So.
I would recommend it. I would acknowledge that it's got some problematic elements.
Yeah, definitely.
But, yeah.
Acknowledge that some parts make you feel kind of gross on the inside.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's what
pretty
Ellen
much
said. We
all
got
the
out of the
scenes-
movie, and Ellen was like, ugh.
Well, it's because you're supposed to be sympathizing with a guy who's lusting after an 18-year-old. And the
Alan
fact
was
that the
not okay
movie
with that,
is
and
encouraging
for a good
you.
reason.
Honestly,
Well,
the movie
because
in
it
that
forces
moment,
me to watch his fantasies.
That's what I'm
Yes.
saying. That's why Alan was like, I don't like it.
It's a direct command to follow the male gaze. Like, that's
Yeah.
what it is. It's, you will appreciate this from this
Yeah.
male perspective, damn it. And, you know, it's...
Anyways. Okay, well, thank you for watching. We'll be back next week. It's your turn.
It will be my turn.
And it'll be...
And it'll be
Oh, yes,
August.
we're doing Adaptation August.
Yes.
So...
I probably will pick Clueless.
Okay.
I might pick one of the Jane Eyres. I have seen 8 of them.
I'm
I-
No,
Enough
I
put
want
down.
Jane Eyre.
Daphne,
Foot down.
foot
You
down.
don't want Jane Eyre?
She's made me watch every one of them.
I love them.
Because they're
but
fantastic.
They're so good.
Foot is down.
Put your foot on the internet,
Foot
Teresa.
is down.
Oh my goodness.
We are not
Okay.
watching.
But I want to talk about
We
Little
will
Fox in
discuss.
there.
Anyway, that's gonna be
Okay.
next month. I'm gonna hiccup.
Okay.
I felt it. Anyway,
I warned you.
so yeah, next month
Yeah.
is gonna be Adaptation August, and it's also her birthday.
Yes.
Coming up.
So we'll have to figure out what movie we're gonna do for your birthday. You've already done most of your, I mean, you already did Fish Call Wanda. That's like your favorite movie.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But you got to pick an adaptation too if we're gonna do adaptation.
Oh, yeah.
I've got plans.
Yeah.
Oh my
You
god.
don't know.
I've got plans.
She does.
She
this.
never fucking tells us.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's the surprise.
Nope.
Yeah. We'll
Okay.
find out.
Well, thank you for watching.
Yeah. Thank you for watching
We'll
this.
see you next week.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Say fucking bye.
Oh, wait.
Say bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye. So soon.